What if I told you that you've already met your soulmate? What if I told you that there's an invisible string connecting y'all together essentially forever? Sounds stupid? Well, it might be. I honestly don't know, but we're gonna figure it out together in this video. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning back in. So if you haven't guessed from the title already, I'm trying to start a mini series where I talk about theories that I find on TikTok and explain them in 10 minutes or less. If I don't explain it in 10 minutes or less, you can request a refund of your time. Policies may vary. I feel like just this year alone, I was introduced to so many theories that have blown up on TikTok. I don't know, I just feel like it would be fun to try and explain them and see if you can relate to these theories. Do you believe in these theories? Are these theories just something that's made up, or are they coping mechanisms for those that are experiencing attachment issues in their lives? Or is it all of the above? Let's find out. So the red string theory has its roots in Eastern Asian mythology, specifically Chinese and Japanese culture. It was believed that the gods had taken an invisible red string and tied it across the arms or ankles between crossed lovers, and regardless of time, place, or circumstance, these people were destined to be together. Like, it was fate from the gods that these people are interlinked forever, no matter what. Essentially, it promotes the idea that no matter what, you are destined to be with your soulmate, you are destined to meet your soulmate, and that regardless of what your belief is that this person will come back to you if it's real and if it's meant to be. And that certain people are meant to be in our lives whether we know it or not. As I mentioned previously, the red string theory came to me on the wonderfully, currently unbanned TikTok app. And I feel like every couple known to man had just started posting videos about the relationship and how it was essentially the red string theory. Like, and it's because they either knew of each other many years ago or were in the same environment with each other many years ago without noticing each other, and then magically they just reconnect years later and now they're madly in love. That's the typical storyline that you'll see in these TikTok videos. And because they knew of each other before, it reinforces the theory in that regardless of your circumstance, regardless of timing, regardless of what occurred between you two or didn't, you are always meant to find each other later on down the road. Like, what's destiny is destiny, what's fate is fate. You can't change it. Like, this is your person, your one and only. Have you come across these videos on TikTok yourself? If so, have you noticed there's a common theme with these videos? They either knew each other in school and when they were really young. And not gonna lie, that makes me question a few things about this red string theory and the validity of it. Honestly speaking, I think the theory is a load of bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, I think that was probably too soon for me to say, but that's just how I feel. Like I said, I do question the validity of this theory. Is it true that there's just that one person out there for us that is just destined to be with us? This is our person, our one and true soulmate? Or is this theory just something that was created as a coping mechanism for those in struggling relationships? Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. Since these couples met when they were younger, I think it's safe to assume that this is their first real serious relationship that they're experiencing, maybe even their first love. And this is important because I just feel like with your first love, those emotions hit harder. I feel like for most people, if not everyone, your first love experience, that is like your soulmate experience. Pay attention to the quotations, your soulmate experience. This is that one person where you truly believe that you were gonna end up with this person, like this was the one person for you, because you've never truly experienced this type of emotion for anyone else, so there's nothing to relate it to. It's the most powerful thing that you'll probably experience in your life, but oftentimes it doesn't end up the way that we expect it to be. So when that first love ends, it can be pretty jarring. Like, it is a jarring experience of feeling like this is your person and then it suddenly ends. That's just not where you expected y'all to end up. A lot of times it can be jarring to the point where maybe you can't let go of this person, and maybe instead of learning to let them go, you start subscribing to an idea or a theory that, you know, maybe you're going through what you're going through with this person for a bigger reason. Maybe there's something more for y'all. You really start to possibly subscribe to the idea that maybe this is the right person, wrong time. Sound familiar? What I'm saying is, maybe the red string theory isn't what we thought it was. Maybe it's something completely different. Let's get into the pros and cons of this theory, and in the end, we'll decide how well we believe in this theory or how convincing this theory is. A pro that I do like about this theory is that this theory reaffirms the idea that you are lovable and you will find someone who loves you, who is meant for you one day. I think regardless of who you are as a person, regardless of how badly you've been hurt, how guarded you are, doesn't matter. I feel like everyone on this earth wants to be loved, desires to be loved, regardless if they want to admit it or not. I think everyone at the end of the day wants love. And although that's like a really sweet idea, I often think, like, is that true though? Is it true that everyone has someone for them? Logistically, probably, considering the amount of people we have on this earth, but also I feel like there's people out there who have died without a soulmate. Like, I feel like it'd be crazy not to consider that a fact, because there are people out there, maybe smaller instances of that happening. Is there truly romantic love out there for everyone? Or is this just a hoax that they try to have us buy into? Which brings me to a con point of this theory, which is that this theory does create an unnecessary obsession with the idea that you have to find your soulmate. Like, there is only one person on this earth that belongs to you, and this is your soulmate. This is destiny. This is fate. And that's a lot of pressure to put on one person versus 7 billion people in the world. And if that was the case, then maybe I should have started years ago, and I'm a lot of years behind, because 7 billion people is a lot to get through to find one person that's supposed to be my person. And who's to say that the person that's meant for me is located in the same continent and city and state? No way, no, like, who's to say that? I think it's highly unlikely that there is just one person out there in the world that's meant for you. I feel like it's easier for me to believe in the idea that you have multiple soulmates, whether romantic or platonic, and they serve a purpose depending on the phase that you are in your life and the timing, and maybe they're temporary, maybe they're forever. But I feel like love comes in waves. I don't think it's always linear, but to say that there's only just one person that is your soulmate, one person you belong to, or is it just the person that you decide that you actively choose to love them forever? You know, it's hard for me to believe that out of 7 billion people in the world, one person, I'm supposed to find this one person. It's like a needle in a haystack. Which brings me to my next point, or my next pro, which is, honestly, I don't have a pro. The first pro that I said was the last pro that I had, and I really tried my hardest for like 10 minutes to think about another pro, but it's hard because this theory is so limiting. I feel like it's a limiting ass theory. Back to a con that I came up with is, honestly, I feel like this theory has a trend of being adopted by those that are more prone to staying in toxic relationships. Some people that subscribe to this theory use it as a way to reinforce or reaffirm their decision in staying in a toxic relationship. When you truly believe in your head that a relationship is meant to be, that this is your person, no one and nothing can change that mindset unless you're ready to change. You truly feel like this is who you're meant to be with, trials and tribulations and all. It almost affirms or reassures you that all the bullshit that this person is putting you through or you're going through with them is for a reason, because it's gonna be so good in the end. Y'all are gonna come back together. Y'all are gonna be amazing together. And it's just, I feel like it keeps more people in relationships that they shouldn't be in than not. And when couples are in this type of mindset where like it's one and done, this is it, it's really hard for them to see in the moment that maybe this person just isn't meant to be. Like maybe things just aren't working out because this is not your person. And instead they, like I said, subscribe to the idea of right person, wrong time. But if it's the right person, it'll never be the wrong time. In theory, I think the red string theory would not work, because it's saying that when you are born, you have one person that is meant to be yours. And free will is essentially taken out of the equation of, regardless of your free will, this is your person. I think that is a very limiting idea, especially if you thought your soulmate, or the person you thought who was your soulmate, is just an ain't shit person. I think that the red string theory is low-key just a forced proximity type of thing. I don't know if you've heard it. Forced proximity is when you are in the same environment with someone, you naturally are more inclined to develop a relationship with them. So it's not a matter of like fate or destiny. Y'all are just constantly in the same environments. Hence why a lot of these people either met when they were really young, during childhood, or during schools. They went to the same schools, same colleges, elementary school, doesn't matter. It's just, I think it's a forced proximity thing. It's kind of like when you have like a word crush, right? In the real world, you wouldn't really have a crush on this person because there's a wider range of people to choose from, but because you're forced in an enclosed environment, kind of like an animal at the zoo, there's a select few people where there are options to give your attention to or your liking to entertain yourself. So naturally, you're gonna start to like the nearest person. And I feel like that's the same with these soulmates or the red string theory. It's just y'all are constantly rotating in the same environment. So naturally, destiny is that you're gonna cross paths at one point because you're near each other, but I don't think that necessarily means that they're the one. All in all, I'd give this theory a 6 out of 10. No, 5 out of 10. I don't subscribe to that idea. I think that you can have multiple loves in your life. I think they just occur at different times and serve different purposes depending on our needs at the time. So yeah, I rate this theory a 5 out of 10. Have you ever experienced a red string theory relationship? Do you believe in the red string theory? Are you with someone now who you consider your red string theory? I want to know. Tell me your story. Tell me if you agree or you disagree. Thank you for tuning in for another video. I'm really trying my best to be more consistent. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I try to post weekly on here. Thanks for tuning in.